Thank you very much. Interesting points came out to me from this opening remarks by everybody. I have a question for you, Anuranjan. How important, and then eventually I'll open it up for the rest of the people, how important is it for the investor to be knowledgeable here vis-a-vis investing in a metro city? Is there a difference that you see? There's an interesting point that came up. You're saying Gujarat people are investing in your fund, which is for Gujarat, right? So there's a lot of knowledge and there's a lot of safety and security here. Would it be as easy for a Delhi guy to come and say, oh, I like the Gujarat story? Or is that nuance of knowledge makes a really big difference?
That, Gujarat story, people have tried that. They see every day. If you travel across Ahmedabad, you will see BRTS is going on. Sanand is there, Chandler is there, Surat. Everywhere the growth is visible. Mm-hmm. So people believe that, this is something which is, happening in a normal way. Now what will happen if big companies like, Tata, Maruti, everybody is coming. So this will add it, forget whatever is 10 is the given figure for the last 10 years. These are all, this is all adding to it. And then there is a vision of a leader who is developing that Ahmedabad as a, IT destination, who wish to, maybe difficult, it may take that 10 years, but we add something more. There is only upside, there is no downside. And, Gujarati people are very intelligent, they know where they are. So, yes, of course, they believe that, there may be a price here and there, but today, what prospects they see, it's tremendous. So that is all.
Is there a comment you'd like to make, for New Bombay or for Nagpur or for Bhopal? And the knowledge level of investor, how much difference does it make?
If we are talking in context of two things. See, one is the unorganized investors. Now, they are very local people. They are people with a certain amount of money. They know who the developer is, what the scheme is. They are very well in tune with what the market is, and they are also very well in tune with the way the developer deals in terms of his past track record and everything. But when it comes to PE, I have a different opinion. Is ideally when you're looking at PE and developer, the relation what it is now. A developer perceives PE बोले तो कसा ही है. उसको मेरा वो मेरा, तेरा भी मेरा, बाकी बचा आधा आधा. So he is looking beyond that, he is looking beyond profit and he is looking beyond और कुछ बचा है तो वो भी मेरे को चाहिए. This is my perception of what is the market today. What is their perception of market, their perception about a developer is, many times I feel, okay, I have no check bounce. I have delivered before giving all the projects on possession before time. I have made prepayment out of my debt loan, still PE is not coming to me. So I sometimes ask them, what is your take on whom would you want to fund? अपने को ऐसा चाहिए जो थका हुआ रहेगा, जो प्रोजेक्ट में डालेगा, उसके पास बहुत सारा अदर मॉर्गेजेस होना चाहिए, फिर हमको पता है कैसे निकालना है. डेवलपर बोलता है उसको अंदर तो आने दो. Let him come inside. This kind of a scenario is a very short-term game. What it should be, now what is it? What it should be is, I feel PE and a developer, both of them are complementary to each other. One has got knowledge about funding, one has also got knowledge about, because he would be funding in various metros. He has a lot of knowledge about what the market is. He has certain context, he can bring that on table. Whereas the developer side, what he needs to bring is transparency. He needs to get professionalized. Or सबसे main है what PE should look in a developer again and again and again. I always say, आप व्यवहार देखो. Go by traditional method. कि मैं ये organization से deal कर रहा हूँ, I'm dealing with this organization. ये organization, whether this person is a person of 100% trust. Whatever he says, whether he is living up to it. And in terms of a developer, what I would want in a PE fund is, they should not be venture capital. They should be private equity people. They should be human. and I should be dealing with 1 point, because there are many a time when even during the proposal stage we are talking to 4 or 5 different people. And now that a person is changing over to what is the commitment? The company is committing different, the person there is committing different. We are dealing with lot of people when it comes to PE, whereas he is dealing with only one developer. So the point of contact or in terms of strategy, thing should be the same. But again and again I will say, Vyavhar acha ho, fund only that developers.
You want to say something, Anuranjan? I know you've been itching to say something.
This is perception. It's the biggest challenge in tier 2 cities.
Okay.
Before accepting money, the terms of term sheet, SHA, whole lot of documentation, everything is compulsory. And at the end, it is really bad that EIA Kasai, yes, it's right. But people who have already taken money, I think they need to come out and say that we have taken money. We have no differences with any private equity. I think you both have taken. And after all, everybody is human being. So long there is no malintention, everything goes right, the intentions are right, the deal goes right. Now, if anything wrong is there, let's say in a terms it is written that you will not accept cash. Right. The problem with tier 2 is that there is a lot of temptation that tax kyun dene ka. If that happens, private equity will come first. I need to report to my investor.
Of course.
And yes, it's the same product. Now, you honor your part, I honor my part. Otherwise, it follows. So, ye perception ka issue. And this, I think we are facing these kind of problems. I will give you an example. I saw a report of 2002 of NASSCOM where Ahmedabad was equated to Pune and Chennai for, ITS destinations. But after 10 years, Pune is a different place, Bangalore is a different place, Chennai is a different place. And you will see no ITS Ahmedabad. Maybe perception. People who have taken private equity money in these cities, they are very happy about it. And they are accepting money. And they have grown because of that. It's a risk capital. There are people who do, who give that in name of equity. But, but there are genuine funds also.
Of course.
And
and there are funds like you which come from the Lalbhai group. So Vyavhar samajhte hain.
they are known for that. So the thing is, it helps a lot in taking a developer to next.
My sense of it is, we've done some private equity in Nashik, and my sense of it is, it was really refreshing to deal with private equity players who actually came to the table understanding the nuance. And they didn't sort of put every city, every tier 2 city in the same bucket, and they didn't put every developer in the same bucket. And I suppose that's pretty true for metros also. I mean, there are developers and there are developers and there are developers. But it's good to know the nuance, and it's good to deal with a partner who has a nuance. And I think the tier 2 nuances are a little different than the metro nuances.
What we did is, we said, to start with, we'll focus only on 3 cities, Ahmedabad, Baroda and Surat. Same estate, within a distance of 300 kilometers, it's easy to monitor. And if you have to diversify at a safe destination like Mumbai, Delhi.
Can I come back to our agenda and say, it seems to me almost, whether I look at New Bombay or Nagpur, and it's something Mr. Badiani said that triggered this thought is it a story of a region actually? You said, in the 300 kilometers around Nagpur, there is no competing city. And it's a very prosperous region. I mean, Vidarbha has very rich cotton soil, cheap labor, abundant labor, and so on. So are these all, whether it's Bhopal, because it's a capital, and of course it's got water around it, or whether it's New Bombay because of the proximity, are all these stories really regional stories? And it's not a city story. The driver of the growth, is it regional? How do you perceive that? You can speak for Nagpur, if you like, you can start with that. I mean, how much, because you're in that region, is it contributing to your growth?
what is happening is from every small town, because of urbanization, everybody wants to shift to next big city,
Correct.
whichever is closer to the particular village or town, you can say. So that is a driving force for tier 2 cities to grow. And because of availability of medical facilities, education facilities, and connectivity to rest of the country, rest of the world, you can say. Because of Nagpur is having a very good airport, from all over Vidarbha, people come to Nagpur, stay there to catch a flight, and then they go to Mumbai or Pune or Ahmedabad or Bangalore. Or now the people who are able to afford flight, they always think about shifting to Nagpur. So there is a inbuilt demand, and demand is not a problem as such. There is a problem of quality supply at a reasonable rate. Reasonable rate is very critical. And if we see with the perspective of private equity fund, because of private equity fund, people in tier 2, tier 3 cities, they get a bit organized. And because of that, market gets a bit matured. And because of maturity, returns will be reasonable. You can't expect exorbitant returns. But in recession also, because I think tier 2, tier 3 cities are recession free. That's what my perspective is. Because the growth and demand is actual user demand. It's not an investor driven market. It's an actual user driven market. So there is no falling down of market.
There is no volatility
Yes.
because of that money.
At the same time, there is a very reasonable returns. You can't expect exorbitant returns.
Sunilji, would you like to add?
I will add to Mr. Manish on this that the biggest factor for the growth of tier 2, tier 3 city is the catchment area. You're right on that. We are growing, like Mr. Manish also said, you also focus, that we are growing basically because of the region. Now, like what Nagpur would be doing, or what I would say about my city, Bhopal is doing, we have so many engineering colleges, so many education facilities. Absolutely right. We have the connectivity, better connectivity in the region. That is the main growth factor. Now, what is happening down the line? Things what are happening in India is real estate has grown phenomenally. In last 5 years, we have seen a tremendous growth. So all the farmers have started moving down the line. Suppose they sell a land for me, to me at an X price. They go down the line, buy it at a little lower price. That guy would go down and keep on going down. Like this, the prosperity of the country is growing. We are reaching the grassroots level slowly. Education is coming up. Now, most of the places I have seen personal experiences with me that a farmer's son has become an engineer. He doesn't want to do that agriculture anymore. He wants to move to upper class city. Similarly would be the case in our cities. Our kids would not like to stay in our city. They would like to move a step further. So that is why our growth is becoming very constant and very, I would say, like Mr. Manish said, that these cities don't see volatility at all. But we grow at a certain percentage, which would be region driven. And we keep on growing year on year. We are improving our projects. We are bringing up better prospects for the better customers. Affordability has grown, like in Navi Mumbai, has grown from 3 lakhs to 3 crores or 30 crores. Similarly is happening to all the tier 2, tier 3 cities. These are the growth factors. And this is what is incentive to us to make a better infrastructure, to provide a better planning, to provide a larger planning, and to give them a better thing to stay in. Even when people from tier 2, tier 3 cities travel to bigger place, they see the malls, they see the multiplexes, same things we provide them over there. They are very happy. These are the growth factors which are definitely region driven.
Thank you. Yes.
My take on the new supply in tier 2 cities is we need to make a framework. The framework includes supply side, the demand side, the infrastructure in terms of the local government or local bodies and other things, macro market and micro market. Now, I would like to share a story. There is this gentleman, he walks to the market, he orders around 100 shirts from a particular shop. उसके पास excess पैसा था, उसने बोला, let me go for buying 100 shirts. So he goes to a showroom, says, I have 10% money, rest 90 I will collect in a month's time from the shopkeeper. Shopkeeper को लगता है it's boom time. So he goes to his dealer and he wants the first person to make money. So he goes to a sub dealer. Sub dealer के पास 1000 shirts book कर लेता है. Sub dealer main distributor के पास जाता है. He says, okay, give me 10,000 pieces. I think there is some quick mullah that is my way. So he does bargaining. He buys that thing. He takes some kind of credit. He buys 1,000 shirts. 1,000 shirts देखा and the person who is selling 5 shirts and 10 shirts, उसको बोला 1,000 shirts का demand है and that too it is coming from distributor. I think it's time for me to have lateral thinking. He goes to our PE friend, कुछ है तो भाई दे दो. Market is doing exceedingly well. I'll put up a plant. तो 2-3 plant लेता है BMW, Audi, वो marketing, ad वाले को दे दिया, branding कर दिया. नीचे demand कितना था? Demand was only 10 shirts. 90% आएगा तो नसीब नहीं आया तो उसका मूड की बात है. Imagine it is 100, but what you are putting up a plant, not understanding where the ground reality is. Now, if you are looking at say periphery of any city, first is Pune. Pune, one side you have I am not very conversant with the names. One side you have Hinjewadi, one side you have Pimpri Chinchwad, other side you have Nagar Road. Now you have supply which is coming on throughout. What is the inherent demand? Is the IT which is there in Hinjewadi. Now you are looking at commercial. 5 years back, there were a lot of glass facade buildings. Now people have understood, okay, if IT is to run, it is only to run on rental model. It won't be running on an outright model. Then came the mall people. High street. Let us make air-conditioned toilets, air-conditioned surrounding in terms of mall. Who is going to pay for common areas? They had a learning curve. Same thing is going to happen with all the developments which are peripheral. Imagine a project coming in Navi Mumbai periphery. Now you come to thinking, okay, periphery of Navi Mumbai will have as good an infrastructure. So laymen, they don't know who is the planning body, who is the other body. They say, okay, CIDCO jaisa kuch banega. But CIDCO boundary ends at Panvel, and then when you have Panvel to other, it is MMR region, where you have to have your own water, your own drainage, your own infrastructure. And what is the supply we are talking of? Entire supply of one project, say somebody starts a 100-acre scheme there. We are talking of FSI 4, then we are talking about loading. 2.5 crore square feet is the supply of one small project, which is 100 acres. And like this, hundreds of projects are going to start. Where is the demand? Do we have the expertise of constructing these 30-story buildings with FSI 4? Where one has to be given to the government. Now what will government do with it? Whether people are going to come and stay or are we making vertical slums? No, there are so many questions. I am not against anything, but one needs to understand that there are other drivers which are local in. You can't have an entire Pune sitting just because of IT and something happens to IT, there is no local demand and then you have peripheral growth, 25 lakh foot, 50 lakh foot, 1 crore foot. And all these people per se, most of them have increased their capacity from X to 10X in a span of 3 years. So per se, they don't even have a technical expertise. They don't have even a financial expertise. They don't have an overall expertise. And then we are talking of market which is residential. It is at its peak. यहाँ Greece है, which is so much. वो पूरा world को हिला के रख दिया है. What will happen when Eurozone goes, and what will happen when Middle East, which is yet to come out? Middle East also had some kind of thing. If we say today Middle East had no local demand. Today you have excellent road. Ghatko par se saste mein you will get in Burj Khalifa. You have a best of marbles, 80-story. Who's going to maintain all this thing? What is the outgoing? And after this also, when you say buyers को invite करते हैं, stay here, use the flat, whether you like it, how long was the schedule you want. So they thought, okay, Europeans and Americans will buy that. Now what is it that demand we are banking on? God knows. In short, we are just having a herd mentality when it comes to peripheral growth. City, center of the city, whichever is there, I think by and large it's balanced. People are getting good salary, they are buying flats, they will keep on buying, people will upgrade. 1 BHK will always go to a 2 BHK, 2 BHK will go to a 3 BHK. All this story is right.
I sense that there is a, you can, as you might sense with me,